I want to give you my review of DirectTV Now. The quick, too long, did not read version of watching this video is that you should not get DirectTV Now yet. There are some issues that we're going to talk about in 1 second that really make the service kind of not worthwhile and kind of defeat the whole purpose of why you'd want to hop on DirectTV Now. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe so you get all my videos delivered right to your YouTube homepage. Let's jump in to the review. So like I said, don't buy this service if you don't have it already. Even though it's on a month-to-month contract, so you're not locked in for extended periods of time. I think the first big issue that I have and really kind of hampers the whole experience is stability. I frequently get error messages that pop me out of watching videos. Some will be that I have too many concurrent users. I got one that said I was outside of the United States even though I was in the middle of a US city. I have also had significant issues with freezing. Specifically, I've been trying to stream ESPN college football games. You know it's bowl season, and so I want to stream those games. Watching sports is very important to me. I've basically had issues where it's unwatchable, where it keeps freezing over and over again. I have to back out of the app or switch a channel and then go back to ESPN, which is what I was watching. And like I said, it makes it pretty much unwatchable when you have that issue. And just for some sort of background, the apartment that I live in has 100 megabit per second connection, and I'm fairly close to the router and haven't had issues streaming any other services like, for instance, Netflix, YouTube videos, etc. So that's not the issue. And I've had this on Apple TV as well as iPhone and iPad apps. So it's stability that is a huge problem that really, again, hampers the experience. You know, the other big thing besides stability are going to be channels. So what channels do you get? I love watching live sports. So one thing that I mentioned in previous videos that is kind of an issue is that ABC, Fox, and NBC are only available in select markets. The city I live in, none of those are available. If you're in a city like Chicago, you do have those options, and you'll be able to look online to see if your city has it. But if your city does not, huge problem, because a lot of either live sports are streamed on those stations. Conversely, if you're really into, you know, the newest TV shows and you want to follow along, that's the networks that put out a lot of that content, and if you don't have it, it's really kind of an issue. And moreover, CBS, although might be coming in the future, not available at all regardless of your market. You'll have to pick up their CBS, I think All Access is the name of it, for an additional $5.99 a month. So it really kind of does not make the service very conducive from a channel thing. And, you know, especially, you know, Fox, ABC, NBC, you can grab an over-the-air antenna and in most places get these channels for free. So the fact that I'm paying for a service and I can't get these live channels, but if I have, you know, an antenna that I get, I can watch them, is very, very frustrating. You know, also in regards to channels, you know, like I said, I'm a big sports fan, no NFL Network or NFL Red Zone, and also no Sunday ticket options. That's DirecTV's, for their normal service, their big push so that you can watch every NFL game every week. No option for that. Weird. There's also just some issues that kind of those auxiliary features besides channels and stability that are issues with DirectTV Now. So no DVR option, whether to have that as an add-on where you pay more, whether it be some sort of local storage versus cloud storage, although cloud would be really nice. No option for that. And also no Chromecast iOS support, so if you're trying to cast to your TV and you have Chrome, if you use a Chromecast I mean, iOS doesn't work. Android does and iOS support is coming, but you know, kind of cumbersome if that's what you have to sling everything to your TV. What is nice, there are definitely nice features. So for at&t or T-Mobile, with their binge-on service, none of this counts against your data cap. It's a 0 rating, which means whatever you stream on the service will not count against your data cap. Obviously, at&t owns DirectTV and DirectTV Now, therefore. And T-Mobile added that to their binge-on service, which is really nice as well. So you can stream on the go on your iOS or Android device and not run up an extra charge. You know, one thing that kind of pops into my mind when I'm thinking about DirectTV Now and whether you should have it or not, or if it kind of goes after the whole point of having a streaming cable service, I feel like it's kind of missing the boat, right? I think the whole reason why people are transitioning away from traditional cable is because they don't want to pay for, you know, hundreds of channels that they're not going to watch. So I want a plan that includes the big networks, like I said, you know, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, because I want the handful of, you know, live games. I want the newest TV shows as they come out. as well as a handful of other stations that I'm personally interested in. So for me, like I said, sports are a big thing. So things like ESPN, ESPN2, NFL Network, news channels, so CNN, Fox, whatever it is that I want to watch, I have that option for the news. And personally, I like Food Network, so that would be something that I would want to have. And I'd rather spend money and get just the channels that I want than have to go up to bigger packages where the majority of the channels I don't have any interest in watching. I feel like I'm paying for things I'll never use, and it also makes it a little bit more difficult to navigate through the guides and see what's on when all the channels that you like are kind of spread out with crap that you're not interested in. So the other big thing too is one of the nice things was their Go Big plan had an introductory offer for $35 a month. On January 9th, that'll be going back up to its normal pricing of $60. So the cheapest option will be $35. And again, you might be watching this after January 9th, so there will be no introductory offer for their Go Big plan. Their cheapest option isn't bad, right? So it includes a bunch of channels that actually might be worth watching depending on what you're interested in. So it has ESPN and ESPN2, although not ESPNU and ESPN News, Fox Sports 1, Fox News, CNN, Comedy Central, Viceland, Food Network, and more. So you can check out all the channels online and see if there's a plan that you like. But I don't really see any option or any reason to get the larger plans. I think that if you're going to jump on this service, if a lot of my gripes, like stability in particular, are resolved moving forward, there's really not a huge reason and incentive to upgrade to the bigger plans, in my opinion. One thing I really like, though, is that you can add HBO and Cinemax for $5 a month. And this is a pretty big deal. I've never had HBO really before. HBO Now, which is the standalone service from HBO, costs $15 a month. So adding HBO for $5, obviously $10 less, but it's really just kind of a nice add-on feature. So again, if the stability issues get resolved, I think adding HBO is a very enticing thing towards DirecTV Now versus any of the other stations. So, at the end of the day, I think that the stability problems and the connection to their server issues that I've talked about with being kicked out when I'm watching popular programs, I think that's the deal breaker, right? I think that, there's a lot of channels that I might like. Maybe it kind of misses the boat in terms of giving me 20 channels that I actually want to watch. $35, okay, whatever. That's a interesting price point to start with, especially with channels that are interesting. But ignoring the fact that it might be missing the boat on just giving me that smaller subset of channels I actually want to watch, the stability makes it a deal breaker for me. I cannot recommend DirecTV Now at this time. It's just, if the service is not going to allow me to watch the content that I want to watch, it's going to kick me out for stability reasons. It's going to kick me out because it thinks I'm outside the United States when I'm actually in an Uber in the middle of a big US metropolitan city. That's huge, and that's a deal breaker for me. So that's my review of DirecTV Now. If you've liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and make sure you click subscribe so all my videos come right to your YouTube homepage. If you have DirecTV Now, I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. Are you experiencing the same issues that I'm having? Do you have issues with the channel selection? I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.